Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, living, and amazing, spectacular, wondrous Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, the one, the only master propaganda hero, psych defender of the fatherland. Off you to a lovely 1v1 on Glorious. No, not that map. It's Crossroads, Basil. It's Crossroads. In the north, it is Caesar, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, taking on the role here of the First Panzerdivision here with German infantry, Deutsches Infantry, with the 250-1 half-tech, veteran squad leader, stormtroopers, assault and hold, and the fragmentation bomb with double infantry Panthers. West and south, it is IncaUna, fighting for the Red Army, the Soviet Union, Comrade Stalin, taking on the role here of the 5th Mechanized Corps here with parts and tactics, urban defense. Hang on, just going to grab Basil so he doesn't cause too much of a fuss or problem. And defensive. Those two doctrines are getting a bit popular again. Well, urban defense is always kind of popular, but defense has been seeing a bit of a rise as well. So there we go. Inside the fleece jacket with Basil, so he doesn't bother us. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my patrons and supporters who keep me in the business and keep Basil fed. You too can join the ranks by Patreon and Patreon. Also, just consider donating. Links in the video description. And, you know, as you comment, like, share, subscribe, and press the bell button. We got more guns here for Caesar, more conscripts for IncaUna. As he moves out here eastwards and westwards. Bit of an aggressive camping order here. More focusing on grabbing some points here, but not quite connecting the field point up right away. Meanwhile, more steady approach there by IncaUna. They're also a single unit being dispatched westwards. The Frontovics laying down the sandbags swiftly and majestically. Well, as majestically as a bunch of third infantrymen can do the job. But while there, that's looking very content now, and most importantly, pacified, so he doesn't bother me. MD4 up on the western fuel point there, Grand Western Point. We're probably seeing a third gunnery squad for Caesar. Tends to be very common with these. Well, most Wehrmacht builds are not going for Austrian mechanized assault. It's 3 grenadiers, 1 MD42. In the case of veteran, with German infantry, there might even be a 4th grenadier squad, and get all 4 corps obviously to the veteran squad leader status, or veteran squad status. Grand Western Point, eastern points here. So far, standard stuff, but there you go. IncaUna quick digging in on the western fuel point and victory point at the same time. Digging in to make it hard here for Caesar to just quickly roll it back. He is still very wise going for the car front first, thinking he can't take it on head on anyway, so he can at least minimize the damage this does, but at least ensuring that his opponent gets the fuel point, he can't get anything out of it right away. So that I think is a very wise decision there by Caesar, pushing eastward. Circa and he needs in a bit of a bad spot. Then he's holding up here, preventing any easy reinforcements here. But there you go. IncaUna, of course, will not let this stand. Orders are meant to form up here into platoon and attack in platoon strength against the Grenadiers by the cut-off point. More troops around here could flank then. IncaUna's forces capturing a bad position. MD42 could stop, I think, around here and begin to press them. IncaUna will then get a nasty surprise. Man, yeah, Caesar's taking up. You see the fuel and manpower there dropping out for sufficiently just that. IncaUna didn't get to go for anything then. Units being caught here, going to the conscripts. Got medics on the way there. Always a good upgrade, of course, to have. Grand Western points there. Flamethrower pioneers ready here. Great versus units never covered. Also, it's great versus anything that's bunched up, since the flamethrower is technically a splash weapon. It's an area effect weapon. So if you got like the opponent likes to bunch up a lot, their flamethrowers isn't like half bad either. Anyways, Grenadiers heading eastwards there. Bit short on munitions plus command points. Obviously, can't equip them with the veteran squadrons right away, but obviously it's gonna happen. I mean, no doubt about that. We may want to consider some Panzer Grenadiers until then. Or another MD42 could opt to equip versus IncaUna's aggressive infantry tactics. Meanwhile, Caesar's dispatching most of infantry eastwards, looking to outmaneuver IncaUna and the Red Army. There we go. Oh, we get the 250-1 half-track. Lovely. And that's not something you don't see very often, so I'm definitely appreciative there. 2 thumbs up. Nice. The Leichter Schützenpanzerwagen. Typically part of a Panzerdivision's, well, reconnaissance regiment. Those troops were able to be known as Aufklären. Though technically, while they were part of reconnaissance, they weren't technically actually scouts or anything like that. They were meant to support the armoured cars, so they're actually doing the actual scouting. They're basically meant to, well, act like as though you're supporting elements, break holes in the enemy lines, so the armoured cars could break through. But a lot of the time, they basically served as the division's 2nd Armoured Infantry Battalion, of course, in smaller half-tracks. So, little fun fact there, little fun fact. Another fun fact about the 250-1 half-track is they'd actually discontinue it and use the chassis for armoured cars, which would then replace the 222, and then the armoured reconnaissance units would also do with 251s. So, little fun fact there, little fun fact. Armored car in Westridge there, backed up in 42. Armored car 251. Like to shoot in Panzerwagen. Routing here IncaUna. We'll probably going for anti-tank grenades in response to this. If not, that's definitely great here for their scout car. And there you go. Flame Pioneers. Obviously a good thing to put in initially, but later on, you typically want something like Stormtroopers and Panthers. In particular, Stormtroopers are absolutely amazing in it. As they can do a lot of damage up close then, and just easily keep up pace with the enemy. So I can strongly recommend trying out Stormtroopers in a 250-1.5 track if you get the opportunity. And there's going to right in the east, we've got the field runway for IncaUna in response here to the 250-1, in part because, well, you can't get the M42 up because it doesn't have the command points. So Caesar here leading here with a bit of mechanized madness for the glory of Deutschland. Constantly running strange hood there. Of course, try and pop defensive mode if he's worried about anti-tank grenades, since defensive mode decreases damage taken, which is pretty great. But now he decides not to bother or risk it. Comes from the flank there, field and almost done. Got more pioneers here for Caesar. Probably Rider Sweepers. They could, of course, go for a second flamethrower upgrade if you so decide. I mean, that wouldn't be bad, but as the Soviets, you typically, unless your opponents are complete putts, want minesweepers, because they will lay down mines, and they will lay down a lot of them if they know what they're doing. And make no mistake. Meanwhile, I'd like to make a nice company plus a medic bagger there for Caesar, and the Germans can begin upgrading some of the veteran squadrons, and we do get them there for Caesar, so good. Western probably grabbing him with the MG42. A lot of action here so far. Mines down here on the eastern point from IncaUna. So yeah, definitely gonna need some minesweepers there. Troop reinforcing healing. 250 after raising head. Ooh, catch them right there with the mines. And we do get shock troopers up well here for IncaUna. Great hit from the CIS 3 Division field gun on the 250-1.5 track, quickly forcing it to back off. Also worth noting, there was actually numerous variants of the 250-1 half-track as well. Not as many as the 251, but, still a number. Including, for example, one with a 30mm cannon, which was usually the squad of the vehicle. But you also had ones with a 75mm cannon for, more heavy infantry support. So, little fun fact there as well. We got mines down here for IncaUna and the Red Army. More of the TM-35. Conch being pushed back here. Then he's moving up. Westwards, we got the two conscripts being lit up there. We got an MD42 on its own. Typically, recommend, of course, keeping close to your front line, but obviously going to stand one to defend your field point. Shocks from Hetty, got it for one of these. And we've got field gun these there. Getting a bit dicey around the centre as IncaUna hits hard for the glory of Stalin. In the west, comes there right about MD42, unable to push through the, well, storm of bullets it can lay down. Caesar, meanwhile, could, of course, now go for Stormtroopers or Pentagon it is, but very likely I'd expect a Pack 40 as he may start to get concerned about the possibility of being hit by T-70, though it is worth noting IncaUna has yet been, shall we say, on the T-70 path. Graham needs some field point though, good harassment there by Caesar. He's been routed here by the 250-1. Continuing with this MD42, got shots from the flank. 250 half-tech might be able to save the day here, might with a capital M. But they're going to catch the counters there, but they're not getting the upgrade now. He's finally getting the upgrade, but in this case, too late in the face of the lighter shooting Panzerwagen. And we go, smoke grenade. Definitely not a bad idea here. Though half-tech can still block them from grabbing the point, so there's that. Shows up to retreat soon here, and there you go. Retreat there from IncaUna and the Red Army. Another field gun, another half-track. Then he's going to catch the field gun, got flanking his counter-attack here. Keeping the field gun fairly safe since 6-man. It's pretty difficult for him to just clear out easily. You need a lot of firepower to clear out the CIS 3 Divisional field gun. It's really a major strength. For Pioneers that comes from the east here. Finally take up there for IncaUna and the Red Army. Field gun abandoning the Pioneers. Almost wiping out the entire team. That's a bit painful. 250 half-take back at base, 3 kills. Veterans 1, which opens up for the ability to reinforce nearby troops. Always handy. Could of course consider taking up, going for the Pack 41st though. Very sensible. And another MD42. I like that, I like that. Again, Stormtrooper squad or Panzer squad. Oh, cancel the Pack 40 instead going to take up. That works too, but I would recommend at least a Panzer squad or a Stormtrooper squad. Got the MD4 to cover the centre. Back here, Tank Chain Command almost down there for IncaUna and the glorious 5th Mechanized Corps. Tank Leader Chain Command, they're done. Field crowd at the centre. East side, they can't ground points. Pack 40 almost done there for Caesar. Going to use to defend the western fuel point against any minor incursions, though, of course, against a major attack here from IncaUna. The veteran can use, despite, training and the experience of the, sergeant with his grim humour and rugged looks, will not be able to just, hold off against a major Soviet assault. Scout Cup going straight for the half track going straight for the countries here. Damage engine there, but again, Pioneers to make it out, of course, just quickly fix it up. On this case, lead to get away. And before getting flanked here, is nearby. A good push here by IncaUna and Caesar's eastern flank here. Sadly, not quite have full success, but isn't going, I suppose, terribly either. IncaUna can go for the T2 now, feeling Mabani in the pack for the Grenadiers here. Getting dicey here, getting dicey. Can, of course, reinforce the MD42 thanks to the half track. Or could get the Grenadiers out to the half track and reinforce. A few options here to consider for Caesar. Back here to reinforcing, setting out. We got all 3 Grenadiers by upgraded with the veteran scalded upgrade. So a good country right here in the east. Flying for Engineers was the MD42 on the west side here. Country pushed back by the Grenadiers. Halfway to Veteran 2. MD42 white. That's painful there for Caesar. Painful. And we can see that IncaUna is, of course, making a run for it. We got the Grenadiers keeping them occupied. And the Pioneers going to run in and grab the MD42. Now both people can control for IncaUna. Definite problem here for Caesar, though. IncaUna is much to Caesar's great fortune. Not rushing at T70 or even like taking up here. Got sandbags by the southern field point there. Gonna up north side with the shock troopers. Got a manpower floating there. We'll have to see what Caesar is planning. And Basil is currently asleep.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
He really likes that fleece jacket. And sleeping in it while I'm wearing it. I guess he feels comfy and snug. Maximum oil for IncaUna. Water-cooled heavy machine gun. Support crop there for Caesar. Need to fix up that 250 half tech as well, obviously. Probably going to see a Panzer IV being rushed out here by Caesar. IncaUna is, I'm guessing, taking up. Saying, yeah, take up there. Very good. At this point, a T70 would be, I would say, a dubious move. Not necessarily terrible, but dubious. Questionable. And would have required a much better field service, but then again, you could just have a T70 out faster without that, so definitely dubious. But yeah, mechanized on my company, probably a T-54 from 60 as a Caesar. Caesar is still some time away from the Panzer IV. Set. Caesar, I think, probably wants to focus a bit more. I feel like he might be a bit too scattered. This is something that's easily, I think, exploiting here versus Caesar. Just locating sufficient forces to just route one unit at a time, then you just push on to the next one here. Caesar needs to be careful not to leave himself open to that particular tactic. After this, good to go again. Can soon go for the Panda 4. IncaUna, meanwhile, of course, is, well, roughly within the same range, going for the T-34 from 6, and of course, can more crucially go for another one pretty fast. Until now, it's getting 39 fuel per minute. Means, well, roughly every 3 minutes. He can call in a T-50. In fact, not even 3 minutes, like almost 2.5 minutes there. In fact, a bit below that, he can then call in another one. Like, that's, a lot. Comes to the right with the Grenadiers, the MD42. And the half-tech Johnson bit, they're gaining Veteran 2, by the way. Getting some nice bonuses. South here points being seized. Grenadiers flanking up here. Should probably pop the field first aid to heal them up. It's free. Zayna, do it. Can go for the Panda 4 there. Interesting enough, IncaUna is yet to go for the T-34. Just as I say that, he goes for the T-34-76. Very good. Picks up the 250-1 half track. Grenadiers push back. Did not heal. MD42, they almost got the east of the field point. We got 209 versus 464. IncaUna has a very nice victory point lead over Caesar as well.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Very nice, unless you're the German player, in which case you're obviously not quite thinking the adjective nice. Including that with the counter-structures press as well. Their bullets cutting through Sergeant Igor Boshtovich. Scout car, they're going for the maximum, pushing out there, doing heavy damage with the Pioneers. Got ace level on them, by the way, 9 kills. And we got the Panda on the way there for Caesar, right hitting the field. Can hit the pinlight machine gun, and we got the T-34 6 out of IncaUna. Of course, He's almost got the fuel for another one already. Manpower-wise is actually where the issue currently is. That's the bottleneck. Manpower, not fuel. Spotted a mine, but can't deal with it. Grabbing the cut-off point there. Caesar's definitely hitting harder back now here. And we got a mortar for Caesar. A nice pick there. You might not think it's an amazing shot with the support weapons. Plus, the way the map is designed, mortars tend to be quite handy. Artillery in general is nice, but obviously for the Wehrmacht, the Panzerwerfers, you know, very much hit and miss, whereas the mortars, you know, fairly consistent in its output. Plus, it's a bit more flexible, partly due to not having massive cooldowns and also being able to write smoke screens, which the Panzerwerfer, meanwhile, rather lacks in utility for. So there you go, Grenadenwerfer, 34 out. Fun fact about that one, at the start of the war, the Germans considered that one a heavy mortar, but by the time they copied the 120mm mortar from the Soviets to start using it, it would have been downgraded to medium. Difficulties, and holy smokes, great hit there. 3 men dead, other 2 are almost on life support there. Tell them I know why, but almost taking out the time from this one. Piling just again the power of the T-34-76 there. It can really decimate German infantry. Had that not been a 5-man grenadier squad, that probably would have been in white on the spot. They're almost wiped out there. So yeah. It does highlight a bit to what degree, you know, while a lot of people tend to go for 5-man grenadiers, and on the nerfs they're applying to it, it'll probably still be popular once they nerf the Ostrom, because you really need 5-man grenadiers, or at least in large infantry squads, because again your stuff gets so easily wiped as the game goes on. And it's really like, you know, the major issue for the Wehrmacht. And again, why, you know, they either need to implement some sort of more elite infantry in tier 4 or something else there, because I mean otherwise again you're just going to see people go for veteran, you know, 5-man grenadiers, because, you know, they just don't get wiped as easily, and they pack a good punch. Coming at least some of the gunners, MD42. Still like to see some stormtroopers apparently out here for Caesar. 21 points left here for Caesar and the German army, the 1st Panzer Division. Plan for around the conscripts with its main gun and its machine guns.
The territory is out of contact.
T-4 going for name 42. Pretty awkward spot there for Caesar pushing his main machine gun in. There could be a good wipe here for IncaUna, except he raises the T-4 towards the fuel point instead. Missing, I think, an opportunity here, but I can understand the logic. I wanted to get the fuel point out of fascist hands as swiftly as possible. Sandbag shattered, but he's routed. Half-tech remaining in reserve here for Caesar and the 1st Panzer Division. Ready to launch a mechanized assault at any time's notice, had just forgotten about it. That happens. Back shoots through the hedges, lands directly on the T-34-6, punching through the frontal armor. Gun center point, this is a Climactic there. Looks like it's going to go for another Panther 4. Obviously a nice handy pick. Ground less than points. Eastern fuel being seized back by IncaUna, is advancing there, taking hit from the T-34-6. And quickly routed. So yeah, Caesar can in a few seconds go for another Panther 4. Does seem like he's more or less forgotten about the 250-1, and there goes 2nd Panther on the way. Bit of a shame there. As it could, you know, again with the assault, you know, be quite helpful. Basically, the tanks draw the attention rushing the half-tech with the assault units, say stormtroopers thinking, for example, vulnerable infantry. They can go clear out support weapons pretty fast. I like to do that with a 251 with, say, 2 assault grenadier squads or 2 Panther squads, even 2 stormtrooper squads. And then you just jump them out next to the support weapons, and then you mow them down in a matter of seconds. Even like the Soviet field gun can't escape that. So that's like, you know, one constraint also because of the half-tricks. Obviously, you can only stop one infantry unit, but they don't have to jump out, so that's my advantage. But I certainly strongly recommend him now. A Stormtrooper squad or a Panther squad in the half-track there, because again, it actually works against field if you ain't hitting them from behind. You've got the half-track and the half-track props quite fast support in this case. He's clearly not wanting to risk it, but at the same time, he just sits there collecting dust, and you know, it might as well be dead because it's doing zip. In fact, it's eating up resources due to the population cap it's then taking up, so do keep that in mind. It's obviously not a nice for the crew, but details. Meanwhile, field gun away there. IncaUna is clearly strong here for the KV-2 heavy tank. The Clement Vorishal up 2, which is a fun fact. Wasn't actually produced in very large numbers, was also incredibly expensive, making it difficult to make. Counter in the centre victory point, Morse nearby. Half turning up towards the centre, we got 4 kills on it. Or 4. Got Assault and Hold and Fragmentation Bomb also available. Of course, a good Fragmentation Bomb can do wonders, but Assault and Hold is also a really good ability. I think it tends to get overlooked by a lot of players, in my humble opinion. Back at Forcing Healing, nothing they're going there for Caesar. Coming in. There we go, invoking here. Shock troops out in the open, second field coming up there. 2 fields of the Pen Force going to be quite tough. And will require some expedient measures in the right context to destroy them. So again, like flanking them, then, you know, once they try and turn around, dealing with the Pen Force, call the Fragmentation Bomb maybe. Or again, you rush in the half-check for the Stormtroopers. But again, Caesar sadly does not seem to be the Stormtrooper kind of chap. That's unfortunate. When the shots were taking heavy damage, staying in the heroic cover of the shrubbery there proves to be for naught against the German Panzer. Yet, Sergei, the shrubbery, it does nothing. The Commissar, he lied to us. He said it would be bulletproof. No, he said it would be mullet-proof. Mullet-proof? Yeah. Turns out he's relying on a lot of people mishearing things, the asshole. Still going in there, we go. Cleared out with the Fragmentation Bomb, very good there. Second filter out of the Panda 4. Pretty bad situation for IncaUna now, of course. He's got the anti-tank weapons, and Caesar is obviously prioritizing destroying them very rapidly. Very good. But now, IncaUna has summoned the might of the KV-2 heavy assault tank. Feel like they're being hauled off with the Grenadiers, and about to get hauled into hell by the KV-2, I think. Got the Western Victory Point there, we got 155 support 3 here. And we go field and crew exterminators. The KV-2's 115mm gun, that's 155. 152 actually, I can't remember. If I remember, they cleared it out. Panda 4 there, damage, engine less than half health. Not the position you want to be in front of the KV-2 heavy tank for sure. Not the position you want to be in. Pack 40 being out. Going for a Panzer kill here. Caesar could consider calling to Stuart, but there's also not Pod might go for tier 4 now. He hasn't. Acceptable. But there you go. Panda 4 kaput. Shattered here by IncaUna's KV-2 heavy tank. Caesar got a bit too bold here. A bit too confident in German engineering. Should probably destroy that field gun there tonight to IncaUna. Fixing up the Panda 4 here. Got a Sturmgeschütz 3 Ausführung Gear on the way there for Caesar. Sehr gut, sehr gut. I'm sure that will leave IncaUna quaking in his boots. But why he'd be wearing boots while playing this game, I don't know. Shock's being held here by the machine gun. Gun is ring up, we also got the mortar still here. Sturmgeschütz halfway down there for Caesar. On the west side, we got conflict with the Linears here. Kind of almost done. Stuke almost done. Graham Neeson's points here. Half track is back in action with the Pioneer Squad, though. I'm not entirely sure what's racing it down here, but he probably should be aware there's a good chance the KV-2 is near line. That just seems like he wants to get the half-tech kill, which seems... I don't know why he'd do that. That seems like a tactical misstep. The KV-2, though, almost killed on his own. The half-tech gets toast. That was a bit of a waste there. Feel like he did more with that half-track there, but oh well, that's just me. That's just me.
Gun is ready for orders.
But we got the Sturmgeschütz Sniper Ausführung Gear out here for Caesar. Should consider a pin up machine gun.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Got the Panda moving westwards. Mines defending their base entrance. Good work there by IncaUna. Fortunately for Caesar, IncaUna has no way of punishing Caesar, setting off the welcome mat there. Head for them through the hedges. Again, another hit there. This time through on the KV-2 heavy tank. Trying to clear out the enemy for 2 Stuke ring in. They're caught by the Engineers here. Shot fired and narrowly misses the KV-2 heavy tank. A shot across the bow instead of a shot through the bow. fragmentation bomb again here from Caesar. On the max by the looks of it. Bit optimistic, I think, though. Still got a lot of the maximum crew there. Only 2 men made it out of there alive. And they shall be, for the rest of their lives, haunted by the sight of their friends being blown to bits. Got a field on the way there for IncaUna. May also want to consider some other stuff. There goes between the KV2. Pretty aggressive there by Caesar. I would not recommend taking on a KV2 with a one Stuke. 2 Stukes, knock yourselves out as long as they don't have any field guns covering it. But 1 Stuke, yeah, you might be pushing it a bit much there. You might be pushing it a bit much. Then something obliterated here. Sadly, there's still no sign of storms of the Panthers here for Caesar. They could go for another Stuke now. And that's the KV2. I would strongly recommend that. So to see what Caesar's planning. West side there, we got the Panther good to go here for Deutschland. The first Panzer Division. Got the KV2 there with 6 kills, that's GG1. That machine needs to be careful here. There we go, lost Fritz, and the building itself is about to collapse. There we go, being routed. West side, he can't be routed in the Panther Fort. 19 kills. Cracking up here against a pest in the center here, still a bit. Panther scooping nearby, still no machine gun on it. I'm guessing at this point, CC's just for saying most of his munitions, almost all of it, for fragmentation bombs. I mean, that's fair enough. Pepper running the troops on the west. And the East IncaUna's men are once more on the march for the glory of Comrade Stalin. The Red Army, the motherland. Sleeping vessels. Wait, no, that's why Caesar's fighting. I need to pack 40 holding back here. KV2 firing away there. 7 kills. Get it quiet there back in IncaUna's base. We'll have to see what he's planning here because he definitely needs more armor here versus Caesar. That said, he could also be tempted to go for the Contusions to try and deal with the pack 40 that way. Stupidly straight ahead. Again, I appreciate Caesar's, staunch belief and enthusiasm for the Stug, but it's not a Tiger tank. No matter how much you want it to be. In terms of armor, at least. Then he's running the counter there. Though that said, the Stugs did have 80mm of frontal armor. And for Saxon with Slopson, arguably they actually had slightly better protection than Panther 4 or in-game, and that presents worse protection than Panther 4. But little fun fact about the Stug, little fun fact. It was not uncommon for Stug crews to actually pour concrete over the driver's side there, so that way further up armor it. Got another Stug there for Caesar. 2 thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. Machine hammering away, getting out there with the KV2. Panther 4 there is close to SC2. I would still like the pin mounted MG42 on the Stug though. East side there is advancing. Stug halfway done. In the west the machine gun banks. That's actually nice there, a bit of rare side here, but I do think nice work there. But Caesar Stug Panther 4 flanking with KV2. Gets a nice hit in, that was definitely not a Stug doing that. Second Stug almost done. IncaUna still not going for this number. I think partly again, he's suffering such excessive manpower bleed versus Caesar that it actually becomes hard for him to use the field to go for more armor, which of course prevents him from suffering more manpower bleeding. But he definitely needs more armor here of some sort. Or again, he could get away with a Contusion issue back. He really needs more armor besides the KV2 here versus Caesar. And there you go. Second Sturmgeschütz aus vom G. Defekt bereit. Double Stug. Going for the KV2 here, pretty risky. Once more, Caesar believes in the Stug assault. Hits a mine though, about to risk losing him. Got the Stug minging it, calling the fragmentation bomb as well here. He wants that KV2 dead. Come hell and high water. He's gonna push it there. Almost got it, almost got it. Almost got it, backs off here narrowly, right at the last moment. Guess he's going to try and flank him with the decent Panther Faust to death. Maybe cut the field, the Panther again. Okay, he's going to go for it, he's going to go for it, he's going to go for it. That's an IncaUna going to replace the KV2 with another one, but Panther misses, wrapping it off. He's doing up. There go, knocks out the KV2. but loses the other Stug to a mine. Ah, scheiße. What a waste of a good Stug. But he got the KV2 at the cost of Stug. I mean, in terms of, like, you know, efficiency and math, that's pretty good. Like, that's, you know, 280 manpower and 90 fuel, right? I just want to make sure I wasn't misremembering it. There's, you know, 630 manpower and 230 fuel. That is a significant difference. A significant difference. Going for another Panzer IV now. You'd like to see what IncaUna does here. Like, does he try and go for another KV2? Because he can do that, but there's A, the man, he has to set up the manpower for it. But also, crucially, there's certainly a bit of a cooldown there on the KV2, roughly 3 minutes. And it's almost done at least for 1 minute, so I've still got 2 minutes to go, though. So a bit of a challenge there, I think, because he's got a machine gun bunker in the centre as well. That's a lot of machine gun bunkers. Technically clean out the bunker there. Good work, so he's countering that by IncaUna. When his knees routed, in fact, almost getting wiped out here.
Our opponents are seizing. Frontier building has been lost.
Bunker down. Stinging blow there to Caesar and Dot. Well, not stinging, it's a minor loss. I mean, in this, you know, hole in the ground with a machine gun in it. He's flanking in it, getting flat pressure to the maximum. Got 7 kills on it. Metchi 2. IncaUna is getting closer to the KV2 there. We are almost a minute away from that. Almost a minute. And he still needs the manpower for it, so bit of a taller order there, but not impossible. Purple flanking the field gun. Danger to the IncaUna. Also worth noting, IncaUna did at some point actually grab a Pack 40. In fact, Caesar's only Pack 40 with him. That's pretty good there, actually. Definitely did a sliver there for Caesar. So that's going to be then a 6-man Pack 40, which is obviously very dangerous. Since again, it's going to be harder to kill with 6-man crewing it. Going with some people away there from Caesar, but comes to there being blasted to bits with the vessels of the years. And he said the pursuit continues here from IncaUna against Caesar, trying to fall back here. A more defensible position for now. The opportunity goes for next. We go for an Austrian here, we go for another Stug. I mean, 2 Pentaforce, 2 Stugs is a very formidable force. IncaUna, meanwhile, is getting very close to the KV2, but manpower-wise, the HQ continues to haunt him. He's still roughly half a minute away from that, whereas again, he's technically, he can now call in terms of like timing, fuel, he just needs the manpower. Trying to destroy the other machine gun bunker here. Is he planning another one up in his system, MD42?
The enemy is attacking one of our forward buildings.
134 versus 242.
We are losing a sector.
Almost got the machine gun bunker in the centre. Panzer IV took a hit there. By the end, the bunker does go down. It was tough to, you know, defend, but overall, I do like the idea of Caesar making these machine gun bunkers being set up correctly. It can be useful. I mean, that safety on placement around the centre is more than happened, but you know, say far west here and so on, like on one of the sides, is not bad. We got a flank here, by Panzer Force under Caesar's command. Really nice here, but that's it. IncaUna saw through his 8th position of Pack 40 just in time to actually stop this. Close call though. Had he knocked down that, I mean, Caesar probably could have just completely just disemboweled IncaUna with his tanks. There we go. Second KV2 tank out there for IncaUna and the Red Army. An edifice of Soviet engineering and industry. Stunning hammer Panther 4. And we get assault and hold. Yes, 2 thumbs up. Such an ability. Betting leads with it. It really do some heavy damage in the gears are being cut to ribbons. KV2 the McFort's going to flank the grenades to the bounce ups. They could actually be heavy hit there, and there we go. Rudolf and Reinhardt there get blown to bits. At least grenades going out there. And we got another Stug for Caesar. Double Stug once more. With 2 Panther Forces as well. That's going to be a sizable, I think, armoured formation there. Could definitely lay down some heavy firepower there. And IncaUna will definitely need more armour. And which, of course, means he needs to keep his men alive. He doesn't have to constantly replace the losses. Gun is routed by the wrath of the KV2 heavy assault tank. First 2 close event CT2. It's not being hammered into the dirt here by the KV2 entirely. Front of advancing here. Stuke's really creeping ahead. Fun fact about the Stuke. Out of any German armored fighting vehicle, actually had the most kills. Stuke's had the most kills in the war. So yeah, fun fact there. That said, they were not tank destroyers. That's a misconception some people have about it. It's an assault gun, which included the roles of dealing with armor, but primarily they're there to support infantry, you know, in attacks, which again could include dealing with tanks, but they were not strictly tank destroyers. Even like late in the war with the high velocity gun there, as you can see there, they were still technically not just tank destroyers. Though again, would be employed there. In fact, some tank destroyer units would actually get Stugs because they couldn't get the tank destroyers they're supposed to get. Stug beginning there too. But there are some crucial elements that keep it away. That even like late war, it was still not just a tank destroyer. Like for example, you get remote controlled machine guns. Some of the heads there on top. You know, you're not going to add a remote controlled machine gun, and you're not going to just. You're only going to use something like a tank destroyer, for example. So that, and they also would add coaxial machine guns on them. And again, you're not going to add 2 bloody machine guns, including a coaxial one, if you're not intending that bastard to deal with infantry as well. So there you go, comes with the 2 Stugs again. Pin on machines here, whipping nice to add some damage in there. Really just that sexy Stug mid armored chest and profile. Panful going for the counter there, tank through 16 kills. Fielding hit there, other Panful flank here. Nice maneuver CC using the one Panful's bait, almost losing it, but at the same time it's a good chance to move in there. Should have blitzed there, should have blitzed. Of course, he might be worried about mines. Got the Stugs moving in here. Leaving IncaUna in a pretty awkward spot here, but still good maneuver here again. Splitting up the armor. Basically using one of the tanks as bait, and then sending with the other 2. So the volley Panful's going for the field guns, keeping them occupied. That said, one crucial criticism might be the insufficient support here. There we go. KV2 down. Loses another shoot, but again, a Stug for KV2 is still a pretty damn good trade-up and kept his Panful's alive, so really good armor play there by Caesar. Really good armor play there again. Great use of the Panzer IV there as a decoy, allowing the rest of the armored force to go for the real prize, the KV2. So it looks like in this case the Panzer IV here won't be making it back home, and this was overall due to a lack of infantry support for the attack. So, you know, good, but could have been a tad better there. Heavy Panzer got with the Panzer on there for the Caesar left with IncaUna's anti-tank guns. Looks like that Panzer IV's about to go down, but looks like it's going to take down as many as he can with it. There we go. Pack crew wiped again, being destroyed. We got 46 kills on that Panzer IV. 46. Got the Pack 44, got knocked out there. Denying that to IncaUna. Engineers comes in westwards, got the shock troops a bit in the east. On the center, 86 kills, ace level. More chance probably to get that, so it'd be helpful there for IncaUna. Not for Caesar. It would not be helpful for Caesar if he lost his mortar. Stu could still do with the machine gun there. Could still do with the machine gun. West side are going for the field, but never got the infantry defending. Veteran conscripts charging ahead down for the flank, but getting caught by the AC-42 crew there. Veterans moving through the center, still no storms for the Panzer for Caesar. Would have liked to see that, but that's that. Got 121 to 95. IncaUna still has the lead over Caesar in terms of victory points, but as you might be noticing, that lead is very rapidly dwindling. No amount of recams from IncaUna will fix that. Against being useful there for the Eastern victory point and fuel point. Panful between the engineers. Almost got the engineer squad, they almost got it. In the centre, got been hold up at the maximum conscripts. Booby trap on the point here, but thanks to the pioneers, they spot the booby trap just in time. My god, Otto, that's not a conveniently placed crate of beer. It's a booby trap. Stay away from it. Are you sure? Yeah, I mean, come on, look at it. It even says light. There you go, cleared out the mine, good work. Also, little worth noting here, pioneers in without minesweeper kits can clear up booby traps and mines as long as another unit spots it for them. Little found technical detail there. So IncaUna in a pretty awkward spot. He still has a shot, I mean, he still has a victory point lead. But it looks like he's saving up for another KV2 there. That feels like one of those increasingly, I would say, thankfully, increasingly rare cases of Fuhrer syndrome where they just get utterly obsessed with a really, really big tank to the detriment of their overall force composition. Another machine gun bunker in the center here from Caesar. That's 3 machine gun bunkers in a match. It's definitely not something we've seen a lot of in 2020 here, in 2019. I mean, again, they're fairly cheap at certain points of the game, so it makes sense. Though again, I do think to be placed on the left flank here rather than the center, because again, most of the fighting will typically gravitate towards it, so it's going to be more easy just in the line of fire with anti-tank guns, whereas on the left flanks, it's going to be a bit hard to get set up for that. So again, minor point there to make. Panzer IV there though, nice hit on the conscripts, very close to VT2 as well. Still like to see pin my machine be answered that's too. It does look like IncaUna is very much focused on the KV2 plan. Panzer releasing the barrels here. Rockets screaming through the air. And mostly killing squirrels. Technically the Panzer was just a self-propelled Nebelwerfer. An additional fun fact about the Nebelwerfer, the way to actually kill was simply through the shock waves that would create when the rockets hit would actually just rip the lungs of part of those caught in the rocket strikes, and because of the, you know, negative pressure there, and then suddenly boom, error again. So little fun fact as a rather nasty way to kill someone, but you know, little fun note there, I guess. Well, fun and fun. Interesting note, I guess. IncaUna definitely seems KV2 bound. Even then, like, he's still bleeding out Caesar, and he's still exerting fairly good map control against Caesar. Because again, he's just got a lot of infantry, he's got, you know, good maneuvering there, and Caesar then could, you know, maybe consider any machine guns do just to add some added infantry. But again, Panzer is Storm should be a good addition. He's probably at this point, I think, considering a Storm has to deal with infantry more aggressively, and that could also work for sure. Though, arguably, just getting a bunch of Austrians could also do the trick just as well. Mortar gaining the ace level there, 9 kills so far. Thumbs up to that. Ooh, almost got a wipe there. Machine holding back. There we go. Do get the Sturmpanzer IV here for Caesar. We got 61, that's 157. IncaUna, meanwhile, is roughly a minute away from the KV2 number 3. In which case the Stug then will be ready to face it. Reinforcing healing. Sturmpanzer IV halfway done. Maximum with 11 kills. Ace looks just on the eastern side. Again, we got 54. Starting to get a bit dicey there for Caesar. Starting to get a bit dicey. Part of me would suggest a half check and fill up with some troops and just rush down some points. People tend to overlook this possibility. But then when things get late and you start to get pressure, you obviously forget about them. Just stick to like what you know works, which tends to be a lot less sophisticated. But then again, for dealing with the continent's west, got the Sturmpanzer IV out there for Caesar, and the Sender in Panzer dealing with their maximum there. Field gun being up, and instead heads to the nearby buildings like the bloody tank. And still not hitting the damn tank. In the far west corner, they're going to flank in here, but still spotted by the Pioneers. Caesar puts ultra there on the MG42. Just angled sufficiently there. Thumbs up. Sturmpanzer right from the east side. IncaUna's third KV2 is almost done. It's almost there. You can almost taste it. You got 40 versus 157.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
Grab the eastern points here. Big push in the center infantry. Got Sturmpanzer to, well, put a stop to that push. There we go. Direct hit there on the Squalling, in fact. He got us obliterated. Don't worry, comrades! It sounds a lot worse than it actually... Oh, yeah, they got him! Guess he was wrong then. Troops reinforced. Got a Panzer bash into the base here. Oh! Not quite the refro shot. They usually rush the Panzer the closer there. Panzer probably gotten wipes here. In fact, they've probably been GG then. Like, driven up here, shoot there, boom, they'd all been dead. At which point I think IncaUna would have been entirely out of the game, but he's still there. That said, his odds are looking increasingly slimming with the victory point he has. He is, though, again, stuck on those KV2s. is very much stuck on them. Moments away from another clearment. Warriors love 2 heavy tank. And it's being hammered here by the Sis 3 field gun side coast shells. And wipe. That's actually the first infantry wipe Caesar suffered. I hope he replaces them. What he replaces them with. KV2 out there for IncaUna against KV2 number 3. Jump on down the transport here. Nasty hit. Instead we got the Stu just. Why doesn't he just upgrade with the machine gun? Really just does something. You could at least just allow to shoot him, but they've almost got the transport wiped here. And down they go. Then he's being handled with the KV2 here. Stu can try and flank it. You got 40 versus 101. In the west we got shock troops constantly moving up. We've got a big minefielder from sea to defend the point there, plus a machine gun, very good there, combining for more in-depth defense. 2 thumbs up there to Caesar. Definitely doing a bit of that spot. There you go, Petrol rushing in, mines going off as well behind them now. Now they have to retreat from the minefield and 5 of them Panther could risk getting them wiped as the mines and gets it off with the Panther 4 there. Stump on the binding here. Filming up the Scoop Gate, the KV2 there. Half H of it T3. Top heat shell there off. There we go. He needs to be mindful of the field gun. That's definitely a big threat to the Stu. Shot bounced. Panther moving up. Looks like it's going to deal with the threat with that. Oh! Guess it didn't. Field gun cleared it out there. But he did get the field gun. Panther was going in for a lethal blitz against the KV2, except he gets caught up with the Stone Panther 4 with a damaged engine, which could cost him the Panther 4. KV2 the sub damage, and there you go. Panther 4 knocked out. KV2 though is barely up. We got 40 versus 70. The match is still ongoing, and certainly is hanging a bit by a thread. Very bloody thread at this point. Let's get happy with the KV2. 3 kills on it, and there you go. Fritz goes in with a Panther. Another Panther on the KV2 is down. IncaUna should just go for T-34s though. Machine gun bunker number, I think 4, is it? That's 5. I mean, that's a lot of machine gun bunkers Caesar's been building there, by the way. Machine bomb down as well there. Units being obliterated. Field gun cleared out. It's about to get destroyed as well. Another Panther 4 there for Caesar. Storm Panther destroys it, shatters it entirely, leaving nothing to be used again. Not even as a back scratcher. Pushing through the minefield again into the MG42 again. Halt it. In the center structure, they hammered the machine gun bunker. Stu's still abandoned. I'm guessing IncaUna is just gonna somehow again hope he can get to the KV2 for the 4th time. Don't worry, comrades, let's just say 4th time's the charm. Don't they say 3rd? No, 4th. It's 4th. Trust me. Have I ever lied to you? Well, multiple times actually. Panther 4 racing 40 for Caesar.
At our disposal.
Storm punching down repairs here for Caesar. Bass remains blissfully asleep for those curious. There we go, Panther barrels running down there. Pinning the maximum crew to the ground, even more than they already are. Gunners moving up. Got another gun squad fighting some further losses there. Lone shock troop there pops a grenade, but that is ultimately to no avail. We got 23 versus 51. Doing everything can just to keep things going for a bit longer here. IncaUna is just sacrificing everything. 20 points left. Counter being blown to bits. 19. 18. IncaUna just throws it all into the meat grinder of war. 16. I mean, he just went rushing a half check with some troops in the western body can probably also do, but again, he's just actually focused on the KV2 here. Stopped at 14. Stopped at 14. His infantry is heavily depleted. Manpower reserves are at an all-time low. And he's got plenty of fuel and munitions, but he can't do anything with it. He's even called in a light anti-tank gun, highlighting the sheer displacement of IncaUna. Pushing up again, straight for the minefield. Not even caring about minesweepers this time around. Again, I think IncaUna at this point is just utterly stressed out. Could lay down some S-mark for grabbing the point here. Another pentacle for Caesar. We got 36 versus 14. Punch of a battle off here from Caesar. And rushing for Singing, like, he's just doing it, like, I think he's just going through the motions more than anything. Because at this point, he should know he can't just rush at the machine gun bunker and just hope to grab it. But seeing half the German army's old position around set machine gun bunker. Graham needs some victory point back. We got 12 versus 14. Finally, Caesar has the victory point lead. Finally!
We have only 10 points remaining.
And there you go. IncaUna finally surrenders, realizing the cause has lost. The Germans have won. And he needs to come up with an excuse he doesn't have in the gulag. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. I'll learn something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it, tell friends, tell family. And of course, do consider donating or pledging on Patreon. Links in the video description. This is Imperial Links and Cheers. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.